Processing a voter with a paper Pollbook and Clerkbook. This video will show how we process voters with a paper signature book and Clerkbook. It is a trusted and simple way to get voters their ballot and give them credit for voting. For those who have not worked prior to 2015 at the polls, this may seem a bit intimidating. It is very simple, as you will see. Signature books are now listed by polling place, not by precinct. For every signature book PEO, there will be a Clerkbook PEO, and we recommend a ballot PEO who may be a provisional PEO on occasion. Technically, 2 people can do these jobs, but we would like 3 working per sign-in table and ballot table to make it easier on everyone. In larger locations, we will try to set up the manpower so that there will be plenty of people to give out breaks. We also strongly recommend that all PEOs rotate during the day. The Clerkbook PEOs have to do a lot of writing. It's not realistic to leave one person in this position all day. Your location will have a signature book or books depending on the number of voters. The signature books will be divided alphabetically, trying to keep the maximum number of voters per book at under 600. In most cases, it will be 400 to 500. Rarely will you see an election where over half of these voters will actually vote on election day. If you have 2 signature books with names, you should have 2 tables. Signage will be displayed for the voter to go to the table based on their last name. In larger locations, we recommend a greeter to help the voter get to their proper sign-in table. Note: every precinct will have a signature book. However, only the signature books with the voters' names will be used. Each precinct keeps its identity, but by building an alphabetical roster, it allows the flexibility to streamline the sign-in process in larger locations. Why have an empty signature book, you might ask? The first reason is to keep continuity in place. All precincts have one. We might, say in the next presidential election, decide to have another sign-in table at your location. Everyone is trained to look for the books with the names. Additionally, just because a signature book doesn't have a roster of voters doesn't mean it has no value. In the signature books are precinct maps, directions, and street segments that can be used during the day. The simplest way to explain this process is that if you are in a multi-precinct location, everyone works together to process voters until 7:30 p.m., at which time you work on getting your own precinct information filled out on your precinct's ballot accounting chart. Let's see how this new sign-in process works. A voter will come into your location. They will go to the sign-in table in which their last name falls into the alphabetical range. The voter presents a valid form of identification. The signature book PEO verifies name and address and calls out the ballot style to the ballot PEO. The PEO then has the voter sign their name in the book and verifies the signature. The ID is then given to the Clerkbook PEO, who enters their name and address. The ID and ballot in secrecy sleeve is given back to the signature book PEO, who then re-verifies that the ballot is the proper style, removes the stub, and gives the stub to the Clerkbook PEO. The sign-in PEO then verifies the proper ballot style and marks it in the book, and hands the ballot in the privacy sleeve and ID to the voter. The transaction is complete. So, you may be asking what happens if you cannot find the voter in the signature book? Or, what if their address on their ID doesn't match their address in the signature book? In these situations, you simply have the voter go to the provisional table where we will have an Android tablet loaded with our voter database. The provisional PEO will then go through a process to determine what action is needed for the voter. To learn more, you can go to video BoE009, Provisional PEO using the Android tablet for more information. Another important topic to discuss are the ballots themselves. There must not be any pre-polling of ballots in this system. Pre-polling ballots could result in the voter getting the wrong ballot. Also, we have changed the ballot accounting chart to make it simpler. The ballot accounting chart asks for the number of the last polled ballot at the end of the night. If you have loose ballots, it could throw your numbers off at the end of the night. Lastly, we have the dreaded 11 a.m., 4 p.m. checkoff lists. The checkoff lists have been printed off to match the alphabetical range of the signature books. If you have a signature book with a range of A through L, then there will be an 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. checkoff list with that same alphabet range. Either the Signature Book PEO or the Clerkbook PEO can update as voters come in. If you do get very busy, you can always go back to the Clerkbook and check off the names. Another option in larger polling locations is to have the greeter or greeters check off the names of the voters as they come in. It will lessen the workload at the sign-in table and help the voters get to where they need to be. If a voter isn't on the checkoff sheet, they can be directed to the provisional table where the Android tablet will be used to help mitigate their issue. Don't get stressed out over the timelines of the postings. If you get really busy and you are a little late, that's okay. Remember, getting voters their ballots in a timely manner is the most important part of your job.